Hi once again, and welcome to Friday Focus, where we do not focus on what is seen, but on what is unseen. Today, Friday Focus is continuing our study in the Psalms, and I want to talk about feeling worthless. Have you ever felt worthless? I think most people have heard of Thomas Edison. Did you know that his teachers told him that he was too stupid to learn anything? Early in life, Edison worked at Western Union, and he secretly conducted some experiments. And one night in 1867, he spilled some acid which ate through the entire floor. He was fired and subsequently decided to pursue inventing on a full-time basis on his own. Now, although noted for his many successful inventions, Edison also failed multiple times before achieving success on a given project. On some inventions, he failed several thousand times, and when he was queried about his failures, he responded, "I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that it won't work." When it came to inventions, he was far from being too stupid to learn anything. Edison held over 1,000 patents for revolutionary gadgets, such as the phonograph, the movie camera, and major improvements to the light bulb. I can identify with Edison's plight. Not that I'm a prolific inventor, but I understand how he must have felt when his teachers said such mean things about him. I'm sure it hurt. Have you ever been demeaned? Can you remember feelings of worthlessness? Do you recall being pointed out, possibly made fun of, because of something you didn't know or couldn't understand, or for the way you spoke or dressed? I think most of us can go back to a place where we felt like we didn't matter to anyone. And that's why Psalm 8 excites me so much. Within its verses, we get a clear picture of God's thoughts about us. Yeah, about you. Look at these 9 verses and meditate on them for a moment. David says, "O Lord, our Lord, your majestic name fills the earth. Your glory is higher than the heavens. You've taught children and infants to tell of your strength, silencing your enemies and all who oppose you. When I look at the night sky and see the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars you set in place, what are mere mortals that you should think about them? Human beings that you should care for them. Yet you made them only a little lower than God and crowned them with glory and honor. You gave them charge of everything you made, putting all things under their authority. The flocks and the herds, and all the wild animals and the birds of the sky, the fish in the sea, and everything that swims in the ocean currents. O Lord, our Lord, your majestic name fills the earth." Wow. David began his composition with a declaration of God's greatness, proclaiming that the Lord is so great, his majestic name fills the entire earth. In other words, in every country, territory, mountaintop, valley, desert, lush tropics, absolutely everywhere, the fingerprint of God can be seen. David's words carry the idea that it is the whole earth, as opposed to just a part of it. All of creation is God's signature. It virtually yells his greatness and parades his glory. God's glorious excellence so saturates and radiates throughout his creation that even infants and toddlers have little trouble praising him. There's nothing to compare with a group of young children who have learned to drown out the babble of the ungodly with their praise. As David continues his psalm, he turns meditative. And notice verses 3 and 4. He says, "When I look at the night sky and see the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars you set in place, What are mere mortals that you should think about them? Human beings that you should care for them? That's quite the question. Who are we? Who am I? Who are you? Who is humanity that God, the all-knowing, the all-powerful, the everywhere present one, should take any time to think about us? Yet he does think about us. You may experience feelings of worthlessness, but you are not worthless. The truth is, God highly values you. Ponder the psalmist's remarks in verses 5 and 6 for a moment. God made us just a little lower than angels, crowned us with glory and honor, gave us charge of everything, and put all things under our authority. Who does that for worthless people? Perhaps things will become a little clearer as we look at a New Testament passage where Psalm 8 is quoted. Check out this verse from the book of Hebrews. You gave them authority over all things. Now, when it says all things, it means nothing is left out. But we have not yet seen all things put under their authority. What we do see is Jesus, who was given a position a little lower than the angels. And because he suffered death for us, he is now crowned with glory and honor. Yes, by God's grace, Jesus tasted death for everyone. Hebrews chapter 2, verses 8 and 9. Why was it necessary for Jesus to go through all of that? Well, in order to answer it, look closely at Hebrews chapter 2, verse 17. It says, it was necessary for him to be made in every respect like us, his brothers and sisters, so that he could be our merciful and faithful high priest before God. Then he could offer a sacrifice that would take away the sins of the people. You are not worthless. You're not useless. You're not stupid. God paid an extremely high price for you. God sees you through the lens of his own righteousness, according to 2 Corinthians 5:21. If you are feeling depressed, remember Hebrews 2:16 to 18. I think the message gives us some clarity so that we can understand. This is what it says. It's obvious, of course, that he didn't go to all this trouble for angels. It was for people like us, children of Abraham. That's why he had to enter into every detail of human life. Then when he came before God as high priest to get rid of the people's sins, he would have already experienced it all for himself. All the pain, all the testing, and he would be able to help where help was needed. Isn't that great? You are loved. This is Dr. Vic Hollyfriend in his grace. If you have any comments or questions, please address them to me at vicsfridayfocus@gmail.com. That's vicsfridayfocus@gmail.com. God bless you. Have a tremendous week.